Ben and Jake, did you guys get a board?
Yeah.
I got like 2 of them.
Did you get a
Something.
clipboard? There's a nice pretty pink one up here.
I'm good.
You gotta take notes.
I'm taking them.
All right.
I'm taking them.
Cassie's gotta sign off on you.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I know. You're a good thing.
Okay.
You get a free note. Look at
It was about the additions on it. I don't know if they count.
that.
But
He already took notes about it, which is not a copy. It's free pass.
When they came in, I was like, "You're not late, don't worry."
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, I was just gonna.
Donna's probably. That's what they're really. When I walked in, I'm like, "Oh, 1, 2, 3, it's getting
I was reminded, do we do roll call at nine?
You go first.
Excuse me.
We're first. We're gonna be first. Nope. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I was taking one. I'm going. Should have gone. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
You might decide to move.
All right, it is 10 past the hour, so I'm gonna call the January 12, 2026 regular Board of Education meeting to order. This meeting is being held with compliance to the Nebraska Open Meetings Act, a copy of which is on the wall right there. And with that, let's take roll.
Jason Art.
Here.
Cassie Plessner.
Here.
Chase Credible.
Here.
Brian Locker.
Here.
Steve Slykice.
Here.
Shannon Wilmot.
Okay, Shannon is not here. She is joining us via Zoom. She is under the weather today, so obviously it was not a smart idea for her to come here and spread that. So she will not be a voting member, but she's here listening and she can contribute to any conversations that we have. With that, I will make a motion to excuse the absence of Shannon Wilmot.
Just a second, I have to do that really quick.
Second.
Sorry, Chase. Steve. Okay,
All right, so moving second. Is there any discussion? Let's vote.
Jason Art.
Yes.
Cassie Plessner.
Yes.
Chase Credible.
Yes.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
Steve Slykice.
Yes. All right, motion carries. With that, let's do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, agenda item number 4, approval of the regular meeting agenda. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Let's vote.
Just a second, I'm sorry. Cassie Plessner.
Yes.
Chase Credible.
Yes.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
Steve Slykice.
Yes.
Jason Art.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. And 2, welcome to guests in public forum. Is there anybody here that would like to address the board in the public forums section? Okay. Don't see any. You good, Coach?
I'm
Okay.
I mean, if you want the math board report now. Just sorry. I do a few things first.
All right, we'll go to agenda item 3's annual business. This is something you do every January. 3.1, every year we'll now administer the oath of office to all the board members. So Dr. Lewis, I'll have you run us through this.
All we need is everybody to stand. Dr. Morgan is going to put that up there, and so we need to just read it collectively, state your name, where there's a blank. Okay. All right. And whoever would like to begin, go ahead, just read it together.
I, Chase Bradley,
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Nebraska against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservations or for purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of the office of member of the School Board of Washington County Schools, District 89-0024, aka Arlington Public Schools, according to law and to the best of my ability. And I do further swear that I do not advocate, nor am I a member of any political party or organization that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States or of this state by force or violence, and that during such time as I am in this position, I will not advocate nor become a member of any political party or organization that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States or of this state by force or violence, so help me God.
That probably went the best it's ever gone.
Oh, good.
Everybody's doing it.
Did you read those? That's great.
Okay. Agenda item 3.2 is election of officers. So we do this every year. So I'm just gonna open it up for any nominations for any of those three positions to the board.
Well, we should begin probably with one. We'll start with your president.
If that's fine.
Nominate Chase.
Second.
Are any other nominations? Okay, do we have to make a motion on Dr.
If there's
Shannon?
only one candidate, you can just do the all in favor.
Okay, so,
We probably need to mention that nomination cease.
so,
How many, okay.
I'll come in and get it later.
I move we cease nominations on the office of president.
Second.
any further discussion? And then what exactly are we voting on, Dr. Lewis, here, just to clarify, are we voting on?
President,
Yep, but when I open this up to vote, just so there's no confusion, based on Steve's motion, are we agreeing to that or are we voting,
yes, so
because the wording on that could, that's why I'm
the
asking.
beauty is I haven't worded those yet.
Okay.
So, because I'll have to enter those tomorrow because they're not motions in there. So what we need, so we just had a nomination of Chase Cradwell for president and a motion that nomination cease. So you can probably do an all in favor. I don't know if we need to do a roll call of that, but we probably should. So we'll just do a vote for Chase Cradwell.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
I'll just record it, sorry, there's just nothing here.
I know.
Chase Cradwell,
I'm gonna abstain due to conflict.
Brian Locker,
Yes.
Steve Sykes,
Yes.
Jason Art,
Yes.
Cassie Fletcher.
Yes.
Okay, next office, is for that of vice president, so I will open it up for any nomination for vice president.
Nominate Cass.
I second it.
Okay, is there any other nominations for the office of vice president?
We don't need to see someone. It's probably just need to-
That, Jason and Brian, if you wouldn't mind making that motion a second, since, you made the nomination, that would be awesome. Then we can just vote if that makes sense. So you'll make a motion for, has to be, vice president, and then it'll be seconded by Brian.
Okay. So move what he said.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Just read them this way. Just read them this way, it's fine. You got something there?
I'm just gonna do it the same order. Chase
go.
Radical,
Yes.
Brian Locker,
Yes.
Steve Slykeis,
Yes.
Jason Arp,
Yes.
Cassie Klesman.
I am staying with conflict, as it is myself. Vote for myself.
You could, but,
Not going to, though. It's- I feel like that's weird.
motion carries. And the final, this is a newer one, obviously, but the position of treasurer, I'll open it up for any nominations.
I nominate Jason Art.
I'm so sorry.
Is there any, is there any other?
I guess I have a question. Can we talk about it before we make
You
nominations?
can talk.
Okay, is there like,
This is
do
a
you
no.
not wanna do it? Like, I don't know, like,
No, I didn't say something. I just know.
okay, I just wanted to check. I was checking.
You can nominate, if you want to nominate Brian, then we'll just take a vote.
Ooh, yeah, I wanna do that.
Okay.
I would like to nominate Brian Locker for treasurer.
Okay.
Come on, let's make it fun.
Okay, is there any other nominations for the position of treasurer?
I think either.
You only need one.
You only need one.
Yeah, but you can nominate.
You only need
So if
Yeah.
you want to
You
go
don't
on
need
that.
Really?
You don't need either for second.
Not yet, not yet, no. All right,
Okay.
so we're gonna hand out, ballots,
Okay.
and the two names, so you will write one name on there, either Jason or Brian Locker, or a version of each.
Yes.
We're waiting for one another.
There should be 5 total ballots.
Yep. Locker. Locker. Art. Locker. Art. So.
Okay, it's 3-2.
That's the majority.
So Brian, you are the treasurer. Jason, I hope you harbor no ill will. And I don't think we even have to do a motion on that since it was voted.
Nope, we've got the vote recorded.
So, okay, with that, this has always been an awkward part of board committees because you don't know who the president's gonna be at the time. So I'm just gonna open this up more for discussion. Attached, you will see, the current,
They are
Yeah,
current,
thank
it
you.
just says
the
that-
current standing committees, as they were just, previously. Some of these cannot be moved around due to conflicts of interest. However, there is some room for others to move around. So with that, I would just open it up to if anybody is interested in moving to another committee or they just want something changed up or anything like that, if they'd be interested in any other area, just, we can discuss this and see what we can do to move things around. So I would just open it up to anybody, if they'd like to move to a different committee or learn a different area.
I finally got my feet wet with my 2 committees in the first year. I'd like to stay.
Okay.
So I can actually expand a little.
Okay, got it.
Shannon, do you have any strong feelings about committees one way or the other?
I would like to stay with what I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jason, Brian?
I'm good.
Okay, everybody good? Okay.
They were just adjusted in July.
Yeah, they were, yeah. So, okay, we will, stick with the committees as is. Okay. Agenda item 3.4, appoint KSB and EGH&G Law Firm as official legal counsel to board and superintendent. I'll make a motion to appoint KSB and Perry Law Firm as official legal counsel to board and superintendent.
A second. Whatever you want to do. I got Cass, so.
It's been moved and seconded by Cass. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Chase Carter.
Yes.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
Gene Buckeyes.
Yes.
Yes.
Cassie Fleisner.
Yes.
Motion carries. Agenda item 3.5, appoint RVR Bank as official depository for all district funds.
I will make a motion to appoint Two Rivers / RVR Bank as the official depository of the district funds.
I'm sorry, that was
I'm
just
gonna
in the
take-
motion, it
I'm
was
gonna
not
take
in
Two
there.
Rivers out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
take Two
put
Rivers
RVR
out.
Bank.
Yeah.
RVR is in the
That's what I
actual,
changed it
Yeah.
to.
Perfect, great. Then,
Okay, it's been moved by Cass. Is there a second?
Second.
Jason, okay. I'm thinking about,
Steve, does
Yes.
I will abstain for the conflict.
I don't think there
No,
is one,
there's not.
Steve.
No,
You don't think
there's
so?
not. a
There's no
conflict,
monetary gain or any
Okay.
gain for you personally, so I don't think that, no. So being there no further discussion, let's vote.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
Buckeyes.
Yes.
Jason Art.
Yes.
Cassie Fleisner.
Yes.
Chase Carter.
Yes. Motion carries. Agenda item 3.6, distribute conflict of interest forms for all the board members.
So these are just for you to have.
Yep.
I look for an actual form to fill out, which we don't actually have in policy. I will see if any of the NASB has one, but in the absence of an actual form, you can just email me your known conflicts and I will.
We've signed the
look in
form.
file. I know, but I don't have it there, and for some reason it didn't carry over because these are copied from year to year.
Okay.
Our annual business, so I was looking for that and it's not in policy. I don't know if they changed the policy at one point in time when we adopted it and it dropped the forms.
Okay, got it. Okay.
I looked everywhere actually I looked through things for about a half hour and then I went to the NASB website and I can't find the form there either. So I will get those out to you when they're located.
Okay, got it. Okay. So I would encourage the board to read through those, and
Yes.
then if we determine that there is a form you need to sign, we'll get everybody caught up on that in a future board meeting.
And they're kind of important to read through. There's been a couple times over the years where we've run into like people abstaining without a conflict, shouldn't be doing that, or your perceived conflict is different than what it actually is, like Steve is thinking about, that, but does not gain financially in his position here, so.
Good.
Yeah, so. Alright,
All right, agenda item 3.7, approve Washington County Enterprises official newspaper of the Board of Education.
the motion.
So, did you have anything on this, Dr. Lewis?
We did discuss with the current editor of the paper and talked about the circulation in the district. We discussed the change of hands and it not being Arlington Citizen anymore, and they are outsourcing some of their I don't know what you would call them, their different parts of like the billing and things like that, and the legals and things are getting outsourced to some different people, but they're still committed to being our paper of record, and they hired reporters to get to our things and things like that. So in the absence of anything else in Washington County, and knowing that he's gonna work hard to make sure we get some coverage there, we're satisfied after that discussion.
I'll be a little more blunt than Dr. Lewis was. So obviously a lot has been happening in the newspaper industry across the state of Nebraska. I was disappointed to see when the Arlington Citizen was removed from circulation. I thought that was very important for the community to get a specialized focus on our community. And at the time, we were told that we would get as much coverage in the new paper. I don't think anybody who reads the current paper can even come to that same conclusion. And then also due to the sale of the newspaper company, a lot of that outsourcing is going to other states to do certain functions that we have to legally. So we are not speaking to local people here in the community when we do those. We had a conversation with the editor, I did, about that and kind of the disappointment in outsourcing that to other states. Some of that is out of his control. Obviously, he works for the company. However, with all that being said, it is the only game in town as far as the newspaper goes. And our community, they don't have access to another newspaper. A lot subscribe to it. So I don't want to do something different because quite honestly, we don't have another choice. But I am disappointed in the direction that the newspaper has gone from where we were not so long ago. So with that, I will make a motion to appoint Arlene, the Washington County Enterprise, as the official news of education.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Steve Slighthice,
Yes.
Jason Art,
Yes.
Cassie Klesner,
Yes.
Chase Cradwell,
Yes.
Brian Walker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Agenda item 3.8, appoint superintendent as district non-discrimination compliance coordinator. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Dr. Lewis as the district non-discrimination compliance coordinator.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Thank you, Cass and Jason. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Jason Art,
Yes.
Cassie Klesner,
Yes.
Chase Cradwell.
Yes.
Brian Walker.
Yes.
Steve Slighthice.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Agenda item 3.9, appoint superintendent as secretary and business manager as recording secretary to the Board of Education. I would entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to appoint the superintendent, Dr. Dawn Lewis, as a secretary and business manager, Jennifer Art as the business manager, as recording secretary to the Board of Education.
Second. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Thank you, Cass and Steve. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Cassie Klesner,
Yes.
Chase Cradwell.
Yes.
Brian Walker.
Yes.
Steve Slighthice,
Yes.
Jason Art.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. We are going to jump down to agenda item 5, curriculum and instruction reports. There's a lot of these tonight, and we have a lot to get through, so I wanted to give everybody the opportunity to kind of get through the reports so they can get on with their evenings. So I'm just going off of the order that's listed here, so please don't hold that against me. So we will go with the math instructors.
Okay, good evening, thanks for having us here. We wanted to really focus on the highlights of the newer things. So much of what you'll see in our report hasn't really changed, inherently with what we want students to learn, obviously, and how we handle both all ends of the spectrum of our assisting students when they're struggling, as well as challenging students that are on the gifted end of that. So with that being said, we've summarized some of the reporting scores, to see where things are at. We're really proud of our kids. They work hard, they seek help, and at the end of the day, we're just really proud of their efforts. I would say that probably definitely the newest item in the math department is that we have added 2 dual enrollment courses, intermediate algebra and statistics. They're each semester long. I happen to teach both of them, so just got done with, I thought, a really successful semester last semester with the intermediate algebra. So they get credit here as well with intro, and then just delved into statistics. So I'm excited about that and jumping in to do something different. So that's also a good, nice course to stretch my brain a little bit more because I've never taught staff before. And then this is the second year that we've been in the Nebraska Math Readiness Program, which is a great stepping stone for kids that want to go into blue collar fields or business. Construction trades, automotive trades, and anything that falls under that umbrella. Last year we had 5 students enroll in that. It's a year-long course. This year there's 12. So there's definitely interest there, and it's nice that we have more offerings for our students as they approach their senior year, because pre-calc and calculus are not for everyone, and they're not needed for everyone. So if you're going to a field where you're going to go to Northeast or Milford or what have you, it's just really nice from a practical standpoint that the kids can take courses that are going to be relevant for their careers. And, you know, we're just happy that that's grown.
The only thing just on the middle school side, we started implementing like iReady. I don't implement that, Blaine's not here, so I can't speak to that a ton, but they're doing that during TA. It's just a supplement to help with math support, so.
Have you, correct me if I'm wrong here, it might have changed, a lot of degree programs only require one math course. Previously, we did not offer dual credit for intermediate algebra, so that should be filling a big requisite if students move on to secondary education. Am I wrong there?
That's accurate.
More importantly is the college algebra, which we offer first semester of the pre-calculus course.
Correct.
So, yeah, we had 26 students in that.
That's what my next question is, the
Yeah.
level of interest. Yep.
Yeah.
Big.
We had 26, yeah.
How did the stats course go up? What was the numbers there?
I was just gonna say, yeah, so in intermediate algebra, there were 7. Statistics, I've got 16.
That's a good course.
Anybody else have any questions? Jason's reading.
Yeah, sorry. I was It's a lot of data, so, okay. There's no other questions.
I have one comment. I really appreciate you guys answering those questions that are in here, but it's really nice when you guys tell us the things that are not on those 5 questions or whatever. Because those are things like we don't know. And if they're not questions that we're asking you, for you guys to tell us these things, like these are things that are super important to us, that are good to know, the dual credit, all that kind of stuff. I feel like those are things that are super interesting to us. We want to make sure those things that we're offering are actually being used. So to know that you're finding a way to tell the board what's going on, even if they're not in those 5 questions, I think that's super, super helpful for us in knowing what's going on in your world. So thank you for doing that. I mean, it's super.
I was gonna say, I think
super
that other
appreciated.
information paragraph, while it's the shortest, probably gives us, the board, a lot more, that probably gets us a lot better.
people, we stick to math.
People short and sweet, baby.
Yeah.
On that note, I'd like to add one more small tidbit. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
The Nebraska Math Readiness, okay, we call it technical math. So there's the 2 tracks for technical math and there's business. So it is set up through Metro as being a year-long class, which is how it was run last year. And, you know, there's sort of a pacing. I moderate that course and there's a pacing we follow. This year, I just wanted to give kudos to like all of, you know, our middle school math and everyone has prepared our kids very, very well for the courses. They have to take a prerequisite course, which is kind of a pre-algebra before they take technical math. Last semester, even though it's a year-long class, I had students finish before Thanksgiving. 75% of the class was done before the end of the semester. So in talking with Mrs. Toft, those students, and one of them is right behind me, they did an amazing job. And they were able to now utilize their time this semester to take another elective. And I think it's great for them. So long story short, I want to give you a heads up that it's been decided that next year we're going to just have it on our side. It's going to be a semester course. Because it truly, obviously the students have proven that they can do it. And I think some of it is because they're here Monday through Friday, whereas at Metro, maybe they're just there Tuesday and Thursday. They can work on it on their own outside of class, and so can our kids as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great, just kudos to our kids for having the skills and ability, and they work hard in getting it done in a shorter amount of time. Allows them to, maybe they just need to study this semester. maybe they can do, I know for a fact that some of them are doing additional time in school to work, which benefits them as well. Or they're picking up a shop class or, you know, some other course that they're going to take. So just want to let you know that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for our math team?
You're dismissed.
Ladies.
Thank you.
Thank
Like I said, I'm just going down the list here. We will then shift to kindergarten.
Welcome.
You start us off.
Oh gosh.
Maybe introduce yourselves just in case.
Hi Tamara, Bluebird, back here.
Shaylee Maxon.
We're missing one of our teams. She had an
Yes.
appointment, so. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll take
I'm
closer
okay. You've like read you read what's up there. What do you want to know?
So we, the different ways we instill this in our kids, we do it through purposeful play, that we have like babies of different ethnicities and things like that. Our Super Kids and Math curriculum, they both have characters of all different ethnicities. We touch on different cultures through our social studies. Yeah.
No, not really.
Okay.
So what do we want our kids to learn on? Obviously the standards. That's kind of like what they have to. And so we like to have our kids have lots of conversations about what they're learning. And the opportunity that they get to like play, what they like this week, they'll play with it tomorrow, like when we start our day with our physical play. So we want them to have those positive interactions with each other, but also the sense of like independence. And like we can follow routine. We do know how to like, if I need help, this is how I did it.
Life skills are
Yeah.
super important. So we utilize meetings every morning, we model it, we, like she mentioned, purposeful play, that's where those like life skills come in. Just how to be kind to each other, how to, like if a conflict comes up, how do we resolve that? Problem solving, things like that are really important in kindergarten.
So how do we know what students are learning? So I took a course to up in my pay scale. And one of those courses I took, I was able to go through and kind of clean up our assessments and make sure that they match our like standards. And so if you click that classroom assessments that's underlined there, it actually opens up the link to, you can confirm this one, it's from Google. So each one of those is an assessment that I went through this summer, and if they test on rhyming in quarter one, the rhyming test in quarter two is similar, but it's different words. And so it kind of builds on the skills that they're learning each quarter. The same thing for their blending and segmenting. So if they blend and segment assessment in third quarter, their blending and segmenting is different in fourth quarter. So it kind of, if they've mastered it, great, but we want to keep making sure that they're catching those skills as they grow. So we went through and we made sure that our assessments are aligned, and then they kind of follow the way that they go on the report card, just so we can make sure that we check off all of our boxes. We're also using Ready, now that it's finally working with the filter. Nothing's more frustrating than when like you have a lot of kids and they're like, it won't work, and we're like, just keep trying. So kudos to Dan. So when students aren't learning, we put them into intervention. So with kindergarten, during second semester, we get to finally have title services and math intervention services. But we also do like our own intervention with our paras in the morning. Like in my classroom, I have like a intervention binder. It says like Mondays and Wednesdays we work on like ELA skills, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays it's math, and then on Fridays it's all sight words because those kind of tend to get not as much attention for intervention. And so the paras do a lot for their class, and then there's like a little section in our Outlook where they just kind of keep notes because we don't always have time to like confer, because fortunately we do have our parents all the time, but they are like 100% student contact. So when they're not when our students aren't with us in the room, the pairs are still with them. So it gives them a way to just kind of touch base with us without having to use that time in the classroom.
Yeah, we also take a look at those assessments, and then we split our kiddos up into different groups for math and for reading, and then we differentiate what we teach them in our small groups based on what they need. So we kind of meet them where they're at and differentiate in that way. And then we talked about iReady. We take that in the fall, winter, and spring, and then that iReady new this year kicks them into, it's called My Path, and then that leads them through an intervention that again meets them where they're at. So they're getting intervention through iReady, they're getting intervention with us at our small group table, with our paras, and then those who qualify for title and math get that as well. So we're hitting lots of different ways that they're not where they're supposed to be. It's similar to how we meet them where if they're not learning, those who need extended learning, it's kind of similar. Their iReady track kind of meets them where they're at, and then there are differentiated small groups. We enrich it for them as well. So I have some kiddos that are reading CBC stories, and we're talking about beginning, middle, end, and we're talking about the problem and the solution and things like that, where other kids are still rhyming or blending onsets and rhymes, and different things like that.
Ditto. This year I feel like we've moved away from like pulling like this I don't know, whatever skill group you call them. So like the hippos, like you guys all come over to where we've kind of split our time to like, these are your options if you're not with a teacher. So then it fills up, like it gives us the flexibility to pull, like, I don't know, Jackie, James, and Aaron, you guys all need help with your writing, come on over. You may not all be like in the same group, but I'm working on writing skill at my table right now, and I need you three over here. When you're done, these are your two choices of what you get to do. And so it kind of takes away from that, like, these are your 15 minutes, and this is your 15 minutes. I might only need to see my higher kids for 10 minutes. My lower kids, I'm pulling you for that 15 to 18 minutes to really give you that.
Mm-hmm. That goes in our other information. We have a little blurb about how we have like all three of us as kindergarten teachers have done a lot of like extra research and on the science of reading, and that kind of is where that came from. We pull based on skill more so. So like she said, like these kids need help on rhyming, these kids need blending, these kids are all the way up to comprehension land. And so we're pulling based on skill rather than this is your level. Like level, you can read at a level A, you can read at a level B. So instead of pulling by level, we're pulling by skill, which is all based on that science of reading. A lot of research with that.
Mm-hmm. And then also in our other information, we just wanted to like say thank you to the board and just like our leadership on valuing that play for the littles. There are places where like you can't have a house center in your classroom. So we're thankful that you guys value that and you let us have the kids get that time to just be kids. So
there's a lot of learning. It might not be there.
So much learning.
Might not be their ABCs, and sometimes it is when we pull out the school center, like the stuff they come up with is super fun. But thank you for allowing that.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, let our kids be kids.
This question can be either one of you. Obviously, kindergarten, they're coming in for the first time for all-day formal education. For maybe some for the first time, maybe some they're going from a half-day preschool or St. Paul or whatnot. What do you see as the biggest challenge, if you had to identify one, for the kids you see in the kindergarten? Is it reading? Is it writing? If you had to identify one thing, what do you see as the biggest kind of, I don't want to say deficiency, but biggest challenge from kindergartners that we face?
I think it honestly varies year to year. Like it kind of depends.
For me this year, it's like self-help.
Okay.
Like
it's not academic.
When I need help, how do I get it? Do I go and throw myself on the floor, or do I say I can't sit back? Can you help me? Like those are kind of the things. Box things is there's so much learning that happens at a grocery store, and since COVID, we're not taking our kids to the store. We have grocery pickup, we have delivery. I can go there and they'll just put it in my car. I don't have to see my mom list. I don't have to, wait quietly at the register after she said no 50 times for the pack of gum. I don't have to, grab this, grab me 3 cans of this. Like there's so much natural learning that happens there, and those problem solving skills of they're out of this. What can I get instead? Like those kind of things are kind of the deficit. Take your kids to the grocery store. Tell your neighbor, take your kids to the grocery store. Even when my own child is climbing in the bottom behind the cereal boxes, throwing a fit in the empty slot, still take him to the grocery store.
Lisa, you're not gonna have it
Take him to the grocery store. There's just so much natural learning that happens in those places where we don't have to take them anymore because it's convenient.
How to talk to people, saying
Yes.
thank you, please,
Yeah.
seeing those numbers, counting the things off the shelf,
Yeah.
seeing the letters.
My mom's son, he gets free toys on Christmas and birthday. Anything else, he takes his wallet in. And the cashiers at Hy-Vee are so used to him and patient, and he counts out his little money and just take your kids to school.
I'm gonna regret asking this next question.
Right?
Are you seeing challenges when they come into kindergarten of a lot of kids used to sitting in front of one of these all day long?
Mm-hmm. You said it, not me. Yep.
Yeah.
And from your end of things, what's the best way to teach them in a classroom setting to get away from that?
Not give them one.
Yeah, just don't give him the option.
And I'm not talking about parent, I'm just mean,
Yeah, no.
because it's
Yeah.
a challenge for you, I'm assuming,
Mhm.
when you come in with a kid that has one of these all day, has access to it, to you're trying to teach and interact with a little.
I think like playing helps them with their interaction with peers. At the beginning of every whole group lesson that I do like a 10-second focus. So they have to look at me. Our eyes are, our focus, our ears are listening, our bodies are calm, and then we do like a cross body movement. So they make their little hamburger and they go like this. So they're getting that cross body motion in there too. And then they have to hold their bodies up. Their bodies are nice and strong. And then they have to sit here for 10 seconds. And that is like the longest 10 seconds of their day. It's just to sit and focus and prepare for our lesson. And so I think that it really does help, because the lessons that I don't do it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Shaylee, you forgot that. Like, this is why we do it. So that helps them to focus and interact with the teacher. But for, as far as like peer interaction, I would say play.
Mhm. Yeah. And changing out your play.
Yeah.
Like you're really good at changing out the dramatic play center.
Every month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have a sensory bin. I think that's still really important.
Yeah,
Some
sensory
people
bin.
think that like, oh, 5 and 6 year olds don't need a sensory bin anymore. But they do, because the only sensory that they're getting at home is through a screen. So, I switched that. What else? Dramatic play.
Yeah, we switch out all of our centers every year, like our academic
Can you
ones.
give us an example of dramatic play?
Yeah, so that's like where you have to pretend. So the playing house, playing school,
Okay.
playing. I have a camping one.
Or do a pizza shop.
I have a
Store
grocery
shop.
store. Grocery store.
Yes, you get the
yeah,
grocery
just,
store.
I have an ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Anything they have to pretend.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But then they're also free to move around the room when they're doing those dramatic plays and ask their peers, hey, what do you want on your pizza? I'll bring it over to you. And they have like a little menu card, and they have to check off the ingredients that they want. And then they have to tell them when I bring it to you, here's your pepperoni pizza with mushrooms and onions on it. Like, I have to tell you those things. So,
I have a doctor and a vet, so that's kind of the same thing. There's a doctor and then a patient, and they have like a checklist, and they have like a prescription form, and they have to fill it out at the doctor, and they have a waiting room and things like that. So super nice to interact.
Awesome. Can I come to kindergarten?
Yes,
Yeah.
anytime.
just walk on in.
Perfect. Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for the kindergarten ladies? Thank you, Ms. Mattson. Thank you, Mrs. Loberg.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
No, it's okay.
Well, you guys can read, unlike my students, so.
Can
I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry, we have a new,
Oh, I'm Anna Hornung, and this is my first year in preschool, so just bear with me. I'm trying my best, I promise.
She's doing a great job.
So I do want to thank like Mrs. Wolf and Dr. Lewis, who got me a new curriculum this year. Before, like she did her own thing, which was great, but I just needed a baseline. And so thank you, Tasha, for doing that, and Dr. Lewis also for your support with that. And Dr. Morgan, too, has been very supportive and bearing with me. But so kind of like they said, I do a lot of like play, learning through different centers in my room. So it's fun to see like the kid who came in August who didn't even know what a glue stick was to now it's like gluing in the art center, or like it looks at me and is like, what's this? And I'm like, well, that's a pencil and you use it to write, and like they don't know how to hold a pencil. And so that's been really neat to see them learn and grow in that. I do a lot of documentation through this online thing called Gold, and it's like state standards but for preschool, and so I document that in the fall and in the spring so I can kind of see where kids are at. Oh, going back to what do I want the kids to learn? Self-help skills, like putting on your coat. I had one today that like took probably 5 minutes to put on his coat because the student did not know how. So I echo that iPad thing, like don't even give it to them, just let them go outside and play or play with other things. I also want them to learn like listening and follow directions and being able to sit still and look at somebody in the eye when they're talking to you, say please and thank you, and just like learning how to share. Like, he took that from me. Well, how do you ask him to give it back to you nicely? And that doesn't always work. Like sometimes there are consequences.
Jason's not gonna be a preschool teacher anytime soon.
Or like he just grabbed that from me. Oh well, let's take a deep breath over here. How do I know students are learning? Going back to that golden, just every day, like I see them, their eyes like light up, like I didn't know that. And like today I got out some new like alphabet key things, and one girl didn't know how to like put in the key to unlock it. So just things like that they are exposed to every day. How do I respond when kids aren't learning? I also do small groups, and so like I have 5-year-olds who know most of their ABCs, but then I have some 3-year-olds who know like 15 letters. And so kind of just meeting them where they're at and finding different ways to my sensory table and having them find those, or like having them use a physical pencil, just different stuff like that. Again, I extend learning by having them do different activities. Like when some of them came to school in the fall, I was like, can you try and write your name? And you just get a bunch of scribbles. But now some of them are like forming letters. And so trying to get them to that kindergarten level is my quote unquote goal. And the other information is come in anytime. We might be loud and there might be someone crying, but you can come in. Like we have fun. We're dancing and singing, and I cannot sing, but good thing they don't care about that. So, and Dr. Morgan can attest to this. Every time you read a book, they look at you and go, that was a good story. And so like they're always happy. So it's awesome. It's fun.
One thing that you need to hear, Miss Horning took this role for us, and she sends such a great job. We've gotten nothing but wonderful feedback. She's been working with our service unit, with the Department of Education. She's completely had to learn a whole new way of doing things, and the way of documentation is really unique and interesting, and maybe more so, like, she's like constantly like taking pictures and uploading them. That's like a lot of the documentation, so she's always got to be on, like, catching them doing these things when she sees them doing it, and she's really done such a nice job, Jackie, and we're so pleased with how well it's gone this year. So we just want to tell you that we're really proud of what she's done in preschool. It's been a wonderful transition, and we're just really happy with that.
I've had a lot of support, so they've been amazing, so.
Based upon your comments, am I assuming correctly, the biggest challenge you see with preschoolers is very similar to what kinder, also the same thing? Same
Yeah,
challenges?
it's just that social, emotional piece and learning to get along with people and take turns and try and sit for like 2 minutes. Like that's good. So
It pops up very quickly. I don't know.
It's okay.
Anyway, awesome, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we're gonna jump back up to agenda item 4, the consent agenda. In here, you will see minutes from the previous board meeting, and then our monthly annuals. And I'm gonna go through these two minutes. So first page on the financials, you'll see your general account balances, a couple notes in there from the hot lunch. December reflects in January. Is that how, am I saying that correctly?
yes,
Jen?
I didn't get it done.
Yep.
By the end of the month.
Yep.
I apologize.
No worries. And then you'll see the check register. Go through, Dr. Lewis and I went through all of these. It feels like a long time ago, but it wasn't really.
There's some things that I would pull out right away.
Yeah.
The Dana call, the final billing for the audit, so our total fees on the audit were under $16,000 this year, which is significantly less than what that's cost us. But there's another one to Ortmeyer's, CPA for agreed upon procedures. We talked about that last summer, and so Ortmeyer's came in and helped with some reconciliations and got us through the training we've been trying to get for a few years. And so even with the addition of that, we're still $10,000 less or more than our audit cost us the previous year. So we're really pleased, and it went really smooth. So we're pleased with that, and that'll be the final billing on that.
Gym floor resurfacing, that's the old gym, which we talked about. The last one was the other gym. So this is the old gym that's on there, correct, Mr. Shaden? Yes, sir. A couple of just updating some equipment. Obviously, you'll see some electrodes for AEDs. Obviously, very important to keep those updated. Drill seeding going into the winter, so when spring comes up, that'll be ready to grow in areas that needed grass and that new seeding.
And that was for all of the areas, correct?
It was all of the surrounding, I don't believe it was for the football field, but it was for the practice field, and then all of the grass that you see anywhere that touches the building that we were seeing. And that was a better estimate than the professional.
Oh, I had cleaning of middle school week. I was just wondering what that was all about.
Well, we're short a custodian now. We lost one in December, early December, and so that's the service that comes in and cleans our gyms afterwards. We contacted with them for a little bit in that hallway. That custodian that we had in the past worked on that to bridge the gap between when we can get somebody else in.
So-
and trained in that hallway if we can readjust and shift. So
So how long is that, was that for, that 1890? How many cleanings was that for, or?
That was for December, the one that says the middle school hallway. Then
So have we filled that, or is that going to be additional?
we keep reposting the ad over and over, so we'll probably pay them again in January unless we get something magically over again next month.
Okay, have we looked at other, price wise on that? What does that come out to?
As
Like
far
per
as-
hour or whatever? It just seems really, cause
we've
how
got the
many, so that
hourly
was
bill.
for 4 weeks? That 1890 was for
Probably
4 weeks of
40,
cleaning,
yeah.
or for,
Can you go grab the bill?
It was for 2 weeks.
for 2 weeks of cleaning? So we're looking at very rough figures of just about $1,000 for 2 weeks of cleaning. Is that right?
More than likely, yeah.
Is that-
And that's,
No.
I mean,
That's a lot. I feel like that's a lot.
Is that every day?
it was cleaning every day for those 2 weeks. I'll have to,
And do we know how long does that take per day to complete?
like, they come in at 2:30 and they're here until like 9, so 9 to 10, 10 maybe.
Okay.
Are there other companies that we can look into with knowing that we're looking at probably using a company for long term?
Well, and hopefully it's not long term, hopefully we get somebody hired to do that. They're the ones that were quickly and readily available because it was a sudden. So Jared is the one that we already had a connection with.
Okay.
I can check into some other ones, but people are asking me who we use, so I know that those are harder to find as well.
Okay.
Too, so we can look at it and see if we don't get something filled very quickly, we can maybe go out and bid that.
And when you say quickly, what is your time frame on quickly?
Well, if we can't get somebody in the next couple of weeks, now that school is back in session, I will go out and see what else we can, because I'm not gonna switch and then we get somebody hired.
Yeah.
For February 1st.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We
So if
just
there's
need
not
to get
someone
somebody
hired
for the
within January, we're gonna at least look for some
Yeah,
other
we'll
pricing
see what
options.
other pricing, what they're doing. I know they're not cheap though, like
Yeah.
contracted custodial services are
Yeah.
not cheap. Probably 3 or 4 years ago, we looked at that total cost and it was considerably more than actually hiring on our own. So, and that was not this group, that was a different one. So,
And then those facility cleanings for November, December of the
Those are the
gym,
gyms.
was that one time or was that like multiple times?
Well, that was multiple, it was every
Okay.
time we had an event in the gym.
Okay.
I did want to highlight this because it's not on there later. The bus 2010 alternator, so everybody's on the same page here. That will be a bus that we intend to trade in. In order to trade it in, we needed to get it running. That's one of the prerequisites to trade it in, so that's why that payment's on there. So that's why you see that on bus 2010, and I know Jen's excited to take delivery of the new bus whenever that is very shortly.
And again, those are parts, right?
Yeah, these are just parts.
Yep.
I just had a couple of questions, like on a few of them, like the music or instrument repairs and sheet music and different stuff like that. Those are items that are coming out of those funds that were set aside for curriculum. Is that correct?
Those are in the general.
These are
fund
Just
general.
in
right
general.
now.
These are just general.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the set aside in depreciation is for like instrument purchases
Bigger
or
instruments.
something
Okay,
like that.
okay.
That's what they budgeted to spend out of their general fund line.
Gotcha. Okay. The Charleston Inc. AA on Tuesday. What is that? Is that it's a part for something?
It's an HVAC part.
Yep, it's
Oh,
an
it's an
HVAC
HVAC.
part.
Okay, I'm like, okay, so
Yep.
okay. And then the last one I had a question on, I believe, is the American Lift and Sign, the sponsor panel for the scoreboard. So since we have that new sponsor, that $645.26 will be added to our running total of expenses with the scoreboard, correct?
Well, we've been keeping a sponsorship on that. I think you must have a spreadsheet that's got the ongoing expenses. I've got the sponsorship spreadsheet, but I don't have a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go back and I can run a report out of finance very quickly.
In other words, it was just an additional expense.
That's just an
Yeah,
additional
that's-
expense that's coming out
yeah.
though. Yeah, okay. Just to make sure we're keeping all those things straight on what expenses are for that scoreboard.
And every time you get a new sponsor, you're gonna see that, so.
Yeah, unfortunately. Perfect. Okay. That's all the
Only an
questions that
acre one,
I
I
have.
mean, only an acre.
Yes,
sponsor.
on the
There's
acre
only one word,
sponsorship.
so.
Mhm.
Going to check register, mostly dominated by Amazon, as everybody's check registers are anymore. I didn't have anything on there, everything was pretty straightforward that I saw.
I only had one question on the cross-country shorts. Are we ordering things, was that through a company or through a different, like through a typical supplier or a different company?
So we had, the uniforms we bought, the shorts did not meet the standard that we hoped for.
Okay.
And so we were able to return those, and then because it was the holiday season, we found these on a good deal. So we
Nice.
bought what we needed, so it was
I believe it was at Shields.
yes, yeah.
Oh, cool.
So big savings for our district that way. So, yeah, we had to return those other ones and then buy those at a,
I just didn't remember seeing, like typically you get like
yeah. it was-
uniforms from like a supplier, so I'm like, what the heck is this?
Usually we see it on the bigger check
Yeah,
register and not.
yeah, that's why I thought it was
Yeah.
odd.
So we were trying to be pretty fit. So
Yeah,
glad
sweet.
with that.
Cool.
And then, going on, you'll see, our normal general fund receipts, expenditures, that you can finally see some numbers since, the audit's been done, completed, and approved. You'll see where we currently stand, currently, and then as compared to last year. I think the thing, Dr. Lewis and I, on that, the transportation numbers, are, probably the biggest difference right now.
Right, and that's, and because we paid almost $200,000 for 3 vans out of this general fund, so that's why that looks like the expense. It will level out, it's not going to exceed that and not gonna become 200% of our budget at the end of the year. We just spent a lot of it at the beginning of the year.
So. And then the next page is a new page that was added to give everybody and the public a little more information on budget and where things stand. In here, you will see budget for elementary, secondary, district-wide, and then the total general overall budget. You'll see where we currently stand at this, let me say this, through December, correct?
Yes, the end of,
Yep.
the end of the period.
So it's not to present day, but it's to the most recent time frame. This being through December, and then you can compare that to the prior year at the same time. So those are important distinctions. So you can kind of give an idea where we're at with the budget and progressing through that throughout the year. Dr. Lewis and I went through a couple different iterations of this and what kind of made the most sense. And this is kind of where we landed. I will tell you, we can.
We got way too much or way too
Yes,
much.
this was probably the best happy medium. We can drill down even further. It's just a lot of information to absorb, to be quite honestly. And when I say a lot of information, we can provide 40 pages of this. And this was just kind of a good overall bird eye view of the overall budget and where we stand going through the year. But if anybody wants to see something different, we can adjust that and provide that, so. And then final document, you'll see activity balances. So you'll see biggest change in there that transfer went through so that dramatically reduced that balance as we currently see it. And then you'll see a couple others. The only one that was a little weird, and it's pretty minimal, but just to call out, the Baylor ACT report was not previously on there. So that's highlighted in yellow, but just a small discrepancy there, just to bring your attention to that.
Family consumer science, is that, isn't that considered a curriculum thing though?
Yeah, we have a lab fee with it too, so.
Okay,
There's a couple things. One is the rising cost of just items that way, and then also maybe a few things were coded out of the activities that we would code out of the general, because we budget, I wanna say $1,200, just overall for food, if I'm off there, it's $1,200. And maybe more this semester were coming out of activities that were written up, because you're balancing out, okay, was that used for curricular, like we used the salt and whatever to learn how to cook, or it was part of our lab fees because we actually, made a whatever cake and we all ate it and whatever else. So, anyway, I know Jen and I had a conversation about what that looks like. We've been taking a few more things out of what was the general budget approved items, so we have money in there, and then we talked about the possibility of raising a lab fee a little bit, just because of the cost of food and stuff, so.
I mean, everybody loves to take that.
When I first started, the majority of the fees were coming out of the lab fees because it was covering those things.
Yep.
We've switched over, but I don't think all the bits and pieces haven't joints, like, it's not been flowed through enough that we, like, Mr. Hart knows to bring the purchase order to Mr. Pinkston first so he can separate it out before we just take it out of the activities like we have. So I think now we've kind of got it a little more
That's a good question.
narrowed down so that we can make sure that the rights amounts are coming, what should come out of activity, what should come out of what's budget. Got it.
We have that going on with that. We have that going on, a little bit of shop class fees. Because how much of it is, I need to learn how to use the jigsaw versus I need the jigsaw to make that
Make something
gift
I
for my
want.
grandma or something.
Yeah.
So, so we do that there a little bit with art too, with some art fees, and then we also have a section where we get out of the general fund, because we're getting the budget for, because we need paint, to learn how to paint, so are we painting that as a gift from all or whatever, so.
Yes.
Yep.
Got it.
So that's what happened there.
Gotcha. Okay.
The other thing I just want to highlight, the board will recall the vending, we took over control over the vending. You'll see the starting balance of that. Excuse me, we've cut that deficit in about half. So I encourage the students to continue using the vending machine.
Not you too.
That brings us to the financials. Agenda item 4.3, you'll see resignations or hires in there. And
I just wanted to check real quick on those resignations. That's for the end of the year or immediate?
No, that's through the end.
Okay, just want to make
You'll
sure.
be hearing that, but in a different process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
yeah, to that point, usually in early spring, when given the way teacher contracts are scheduled, if somebody makes a movement for family or another opportunity, this will probably be the earliest we've seen that, but if that movement or any other movement happens, we may see that in the coming meetings. So,
Technically, they have until March 15th when contracts are due.
Yeah.
Submit
I just felt like this one was really early, so I was a
Well,
little worried.
So
So-
what we do around this time, and especially now since it's harder to find, retain, recruit teachers, like if you're hiring in March or April, you almost feel like you've missed the boat. So what I do about this time of year now for probably the past 2 or 3 years is, hey, it's getting harder and harder. If you are certain that you're going to make a move for your family, or you're looking at a different opportunity, or you're considering retiring, please let us know, or your building level principal know early as possible. If you're ready to give us a letter so we can start advertising and get hiring, so. That's what that yielded. I sent out that email when everyone returned back in January, and so she was sure. I mean, she's done a nice job, but she's got different priorities. And changes happening in her life, and she knows that coming back isn't the right thing for her family right now, so.
with that, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I will second.
So moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Chase Creditor.
Yes.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
Steve Slycase.
Yes.
Jason Arp.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. We will go down to agenda item 6, the principal's report. I will start with 6.1, curriculum director report.
Yeah, and waiting patiently for a couple of months for the state to get their act together and give us the data.
It's been a while, sorry.
No,
Thank you
it's
for
fine.
waiting for us to get everything in. It takes a little bit of time to, there's gotta be an easier way, but I don't know an easier way than to go into each specific school, write down their numbers, input it into the system, then go to the next school, and it just takes a long time to get all of that information in there, so.
Well, and the state keeps changing that release date too, so it
It's
seems like
usually like
later and
November
later all the
27th or 26th, so it's like when we're on Thanksgiving break, it comes out like that Friday or that Wednesday sometimes, and yeah, so yay. Anyways, this could take me like 12 years to talk about everything, so I'm just gonna kind of give you the skinny. And just what's new in my position throughout this year. Professional development stays the same. We do 4 peer-led sessions per year. We added this year 2 more that are more peer observation. So they're going into each other's classrooms, trying to just build that cohesion of culture and the collaboration with others. Sometimes we know that kids adapt to different people, so it's a good opportunity for them to get into other people's classrooms to see if those kids, they can reach kids in a different way. We've gotten good feedback on it so far. Some people really enjoy it, but I think back to the years that I first started teaching here, and in the elementary, there was an open concept. So I could hear the wonderful things that were going on from different teachers, and my bag of tricks grew because of it. And we got our new addition and doors closed, and you can't hear teaching going on anymore. And so it's nice to be able to go into somebody else's classroom and learn some different things that you don't get anymore to take away. You kind of get stuck in your old ways and not branch out, and it just gives people a different perspective, I feel like. Also, there's not a ton of conferences that people go to anymore, because that was really big. You'd go to a conference, you'd learn all these new things, and come back and implement them in your classroom, and we don't do that anymore. And there's just not a ton of that stuff offered. So to learn from your peers, I think there's really no better way to do it. So we implemented that in the fall, and they'll do one each semester, and then they fill out a form that goes with our horizontal strategies and different things, so that they know that there is a teaching model that we follow, and then they comment on that. And the observation form does not go back to the teacher, so they don't see what they wrote or anything like that, but we do check the feedback that they got from the teachers too. So team meetings continue to be the same. Dr. Morgan and I meet with each grade level once a week, and have some really great conversations with the teachers. Currently, a lot of our conversations are student-centered, curriculum-centered, testing, assessment-centered, SLO goals, data collection, just a lot of stuff about kids. Curriculum is always fun. So we are in the phase of looking to adopt science. Science is a crazy beast. It is very expensive because there is a lot of components that go into experiments. And so high school and middle school, we are good to go. Elementary, we are still sifting through what is the best curriculum to use. We piloted Twig early in the school year. It has a ton to offer. Twig not only does science, it does the science of reading incorporated into it. It has a lot of reading components, which then in turn makes the bill larger. It has kits for every module that you go through, which makes the bill larger. It has anything and everything for science that you could ever dream of. The only problem that we're running into is the fact of time. There's not enough time to teach it to its entirety that it needs to. And for the amount of money that we're going to be spending on it, what is the best option for us? So we are stuck right now, which is not something you probably want to hear, knowing that next month is time to come to the board and adopt. But we are going to sift through that as the week continues on, and having conversations with our teachers to see what they think is best. The pilot of Twig went fabulous. The teachers loved it. The only complaint was constantly, there's just so much and there's not enough time, and I can't do it to the degree that it needs to be taught. There will have to be, if Twig is the company that we continue to go with, We're gonna have to figure out some different ways to cut costs, number one, because it is a very expensive program. And number two, how to make it fit for Arlington. That's gonna take a lot of work over the summer.
Mrs. Wolf, I'll stop here just because, is there anything on this particular item? Because there's certain timelines, obviously, I understand that.
Yep.
Can those timelines be altered given the circumstances? Or do they, I guess a better question is, do they need to be altered here for any reason?
I wanna say no, because if we don't make a decision and we don't come and get an approval, that's gonna just push getting materials back to where our teachers don't have what they need for the summer to prepare for next year.
Okay.
So,
What we're working on now is like, what are the non-negotiables to meet standards based on
Yes.
what the curriculum has? And then how will the company pare that down for us to make it also cost effective? So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at
Got it.
in the process.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
and the experiments and everything is great. It is
Fabulous.
awesome, but is it worth our money to spend a significant amount? Like the first was $140,000 just for elementary, which we got them pared down from that to about 90. But we still need to pare it down.
I was just gonna
From
ask
there.
you, for the board to know, because we don't do this like you guys do it daily. Is our curriculum, are you able to package it like custom order to what you need? Or is it pretty much, hey,
Yes.
this is what you get,
Yes, we get a custom, but it's a ton of work to customize
to
it.
figure out what you want, what you
Yeah,
need?
and to make sure you're not missing anything that you're gonna need, and you're also not purchasing things that are gonna sit on the shelf and you're not gonna use.
Yes.
So it's a process.
Yeah, because we think about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, we had FOSS, and FOSS was a bunch of kit type things, lots of hands-on experiments. You can find that in the boiler room. There is kit upon kit of extra materials that we haven't used. So we've got to figure out a cost-effective way to handle science and then figure out what to do with stuff. So, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. But middle school's gonna go with Amplify again. Cassie's done a really great job of modifying that and making it really applicable for middle school. Our high school teachers are gonna stick with some of the things that they've done, and just tweak a couple things in curriculum. So we won't have a near as big of cost in the high school, middle school as we will in the elementary. So, yes, elementary teachers.
So is there
are
just
crazy.
one game in town, Tasha, or not?
Say that again?
One game in town, so like Twig is, or what do you
Well,
think?
so science is really interesting for the state because they don't have a lot of recommended curriculum that's approved as a standardized okayed curriculum. There's a lot of things that are just kind of floating in between. So HMH into science is one of them, Twig is one of them, Amplify, but a lot of the stuff just doesn't appeal to our kids.
Okay,
It's not-
I'm just asking the
yeah,
question. I have
it's
no
a lot
idea.
of
I know you've
online
been sifted through this.
and not a
and
lot
I
of
know.
hands-on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Brian, you need the company to develop science.
Yes.
Oh,
curriculum.
no, there's no way.
Yes.
For elementary kids.
For elementary kids.
Because they want to have that happy medium of experiment and learning at the same time instead of just all experiments or all just taking it out of a book. It needs to be a good mix, and that's hard to find in science. So we're in implementation of fine arts and Spanish. There wasn't a whole lot that we purchased last year just because that is a whole different beast. But the music teachers are loving their online components for both elementary, middle school, and vocal and band. And then this kind of gives you a little bit of a rundown of what curriculums we use in what core areas. Math is going well and reading continues to improve. So data and testing, these are all the different tests that our kiddos take. iReady is new. I want to thank you for that giant purchase. That was big. It has been a learning curve, very big learning curve for a lot of us, from the testing to the MyPath and to getting kids on and utilizing the amount of minutes that they're saying and trying to read all of the different data points. There's been a lot of information, but it's been really great. And we've seen an uptick in our math scores because of iReady. Because iReady is so rigorous for these kids that we have seen some growth in our math. Not such great growth in our iReady testing. We're still trying to figure out why that is, but we meet with them on Monday in service, so we'll be able to ask some of those harder questions. But honestly, it's really upped our math scores. So we think it's probably the rigor of the tests in iReady in comparison to math. So Mark, go ahead.
I like this chart for data and testing because we usually see them on an individual, where this is coming up. So this kind of shows it, all of them on each level. When you see it three times, spring, fall, what case may be, are we continuing in a direction of assessments, more and more assessments? Is that what the future looks like?
It's been that way for.
Sadly, it's been that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like a couple
And
of
maybe it's
these
because
are.
I don't remember
yeah.
seeing it laid out like this before.
Yeah.
So it's just, you see it and you're like, holy cow, laid out like that. And I just didn't know if this has really seen an increase here recently, or has this kind of been steady?
So we've tried to actually decrease. We used to have triangulation with data, so we had in NSCAs, but we incorporated Fontes and Nell testing with our kids and FastBridge testing with our kids. We've done a lot of different things throughout the year, so we're trying to taper back on that, just to 2 different types of testing. But I mean, I would love to someday just get it down to 1. I just don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes we overtest our kids, obviously, because not only are these 3 times a year, but then they've got their regular core assessments within there too. So it's like it's constant testing.
And we did take out, we only map test actually 2 times a year, and then NSCAs is the 3rd test unless they're not in,
Yes.
not in a NSCAs testing. So like 1 and 2, grades 1 and 2.
And since this is laid out like it is, it's a dumb question, but of those testing and assessments, what is mandated or required?
Technically nothing.
Okay.
Except for, well, there is for your iReady, probably for us for the Elementary Reads Act. The ACT,
Yep.
I think, is mandatory, and NSCAs is mandatory. NAEP is so NAEP is not mandatory. It is something that we have been so blessed to have the last 3 years, being handpicked by the state to take that test.
It's not everyone, certain grades.
Yeah, it's grade 4 this year again.
But we
And
do
then-
have to have a local screener, and so.
Yes,
iReady
so
is
our
still-
iReady is our local screener, yeah. And math we take because we need to be able to prepare them for NSCAs, which is the same platform.
Thank you.
Let's see what else. So the giant packet of information was where Arlington kind of sits based on the schools that are in our ESU, but also just some schools that are in our array, I believe, as well. As an elementary, we're in the top like 4 or 5, sometimes a little bit higher in reading and math with those scores. Our middle school dropped in both reading and math this year, so we're trying to really combat and find ways to figure out why that is, if it's curriculum, if it's instruction, and where. And so we've got different things in place for that too. But this just kind of shows overall the scores that we have as a district. And then it breaks down into each grade level of math and ELA and ACT and science.
I know we've talked about this before, ELA being kind of the outlier, I think, and the challenges with that, and it's really kind of not just us for ELA too. I think there's some other certain challenges with some of these other schools with it as well. Just for the board to understand, why is, I guess, dumb it down, and I think we maybe asked this before, but maybe get it on the record more. Why is ELA such a challenge?
I personally think it's the building of stamina and reading for kids. The NSCA's test is probably upwards of 7 to 9 passages, and each passage is anywhere from 20 to 30 paragraphs. And so you're taking a test, and if you are reading the whole thing, you're gonna get bored. And kids don't have the stamina to read like they would have in the past.
Yeah.
But then you've got maybe 3 questions on that paragraph. And the next paragraph you read has 7 questions, so you really need to read the whole paragraph. And then the next one has 2 questions. So it's just the length of reading that these kids are having to do. I think they probably understand it better than what the results that are coming out, but it's hard to do that for a lengthy period of time and sit there and stare at a screen.
So, Mrs. Wolf, to that point then, since it's the mechanism of the testing, is it totally different, I don't want to say problems, but different challenges we're seeing with ELA in the classroom? Because to me, if you're telling me that, that may not translate to a classroom setting, and maybe it's something else in ELA that kids are struggling with in the classroom, because that's a very specific, like they're not going to sit in the classroom and read it's just, they just won't do it. It's just the way the test is structured to that. So with that, knowing that, what's the biggest concern from a classroom standpoint in ELA? If there is one.
I don't know how to answer that, to be completely honest.
Too, depending on grade level. like-
That's good, that's good, because if you can't identify
And honestly, and it's going to, the different, the vast amount of different skills you have in all of the children in that classroom. Mrs. Stork might have, a classroom of 20 kids and need 4 or 5 different reading groups. There's different levels. They're proficient at some things. Some kids are working with fluency. Some kids are working on just like coding words and things like that yet. So there's just such a variety of skills when it comes to that.
I do think the interesting thing about ELA is that with math, there's a wrong and a right, like there's a very concrete answer. And with reading, when you look at some of the passages that they read and then they're trying to like sift through it and get an answer, it's not like who is the main character. They don't miss that stuff. It's that inferencing, it's that understanding what's beyond the text, what's the part that's not written that they want the answer to. And that can come from background knowledge and what you've already been predisposed to experiencing, and it can come from opinion, and it can come, so like to,
You have shower too.
And I think too, a lot of the passages that these kids are reading, they don't have any background knowledge or relation to or understanding of, and so then that can really skew your results because they don't even know what you're talking about because they haven't had those life experiences at the same.
So mine's a little oversimplification is, and I don't want to speak for ELA educators, but Lumpins and love reading. Like, so there is a element of being able to differentiate in a reading class that maybe you can't do as much of in a math class. Because, kind of the problem solving process is the problem solving process. You can look at that problem maybe 4 or 5 different ways, but the problem is the problem. Like with our reading, we're able to differentiate and let kids maybe pick genre of books that they like or topics that they like, different things like that looks different than on the assessment. You're not getting a choice. The passage is the passage. So there is a balance of that and balancing that with, okay, but we know NSCA's looks like this, then, but I don't want you to hate your ELA. So there is a balance that way too. So I don't know if that's.
Well, that's good for us to hear, I think, because to us hearing this, it's more like a testing structure versus if none of you really identified, hey, this is really a problem. I think that's a good thing because that tells me there's not one overriding issue at all. It's just a case by case basis.
We did, like middle school, we looked at, when we kind of individualized our MTSS process, we only had a standalone reading ELA class. So 4 years ago, we split that and have a standalone reading class and a standalone English class, so really doubled our time in ELA. Thinking and anticipating that would be a big, jump for this area, and just testing wise, it hasn't really materialized in a big jump. So anyway, we're gonna continue to keep asking those questions and see if we're, hitting the mark with what our kids need to, in addition to having them love as much as possible.
Well, I think we would not want all of you to respond to just the structure of one test. Just to, we don't want you to shape stuff around that. We want, to your point, we still want you to love reading and get the education you need, regardless of what the test structure looks like.
That's that part of making lifelong learners. That's where what our strive is for. So hearing that it's probably more the structure of the test rather than necessarily what the kids are actually learning. I feel like that makes, I feel like it makes me feel better. I mean, those scores just might be a little lower.
Right.
Because that test is just silly.
Right. And across the state, ELA scores are just always low. Like,
Yeah.
you see very high scores in math and you won't see those anywhere.
It's not
Very
like,
rare to see that.
it's not like we're completely outside of all the other numbers around us.
No.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Goal setting continues, and the only really big new part of my job is the new mentor program that we're trying to implement. We're piloting in the elementary levels. Lisa's one of our mentors as well, so we're calling it a SWAT team, and we're like, I sometimes feel like we kind of laid our newbies out to figure it out themselves, and this is just a more hands-on, really supportive outlook on things, so that they're not feeling like they're doing it on their own. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm one of the mentors. I don't know how Jackie put me in that, but it's fine. We go into classrooms and watch people teach. We've done different lessons on just good teaching practices and just different activities and lots of conversations, advocating for each other and figuring out how this world works. And before it was very surface level, like, here's your copy code, this is how we use the copy machine, this is how to use your phone, this is how to, and now it's expanded into teaching practices and what's best practice for learners and our kids. So it's been a lot of fun, and hopefully it'll just continue to evolve.
Are those the new teacher mentoring in both the high school and the elementary?
It's just, we're piloting in the elementary
Just
this
elementary.
year, yeah.
How many?
We also inputted, on top of our new teachers, we input the ones that have been in for at least a year, so that they get it as well. So it upped the numbers a little bit.
Yes.
I think
We
there's,
pulled in our second years, in their
Yes.
second year teaching, because they were first year brand new teachers last year.
Yeah.
And we felt like we just needed to love on them. Yeah, sucked them in.
you're good.
And that's the same with those team meetings as well. That's just happening now.
But there's MTSS meetings that are
Yeah,
happening at the middle school
we
level.
went through,
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have common.
Just not with
We don't
curriculum,
have common
though.
content for departments. So,
Guys have any questions?
I don't think so. I think, we've seen pieces of this, now everything's come there, and, like with anything else, I think we'll go through kind of the data, but I think we kind of address everything in the data. Everything looks really good.
Yeah.
Talk through the ELA stuff, and then, we've talked about other stuff, regarding ACT scores in certain sections before here with the board, so, I kind of covered everything.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
thank you, Mrs. Wolf,
You
appreciate
bet,
it.
you bet. Thank you.
Thanks, Tasha.
Agenda item 6.2, Dr. Morgan.
Well, just when you thought you couldn't get enough data, I got a little more for you. So this is, I do this year over year, it's our, just our action plan on the elementary side, so I have both math and, reading, the ELA piece. So at the beginning of the year is in red, so we were at 71%, wanted to increase to 85%. At Christmas, we're at 76, still looking to get to 85. Some of the interventions and things we're doing to get those kiddos moving. And then ELA, we started the year at 68, trying to get to 80. We actually bumped in ELA more than we bumped in math, which is an interesting thing. And I do believe this is kind of ties to what Tasha said. Our math scores with ELA have grown substantially, and I do think that iWriting My Path is increasing that at a higher rate. So, hey, I'd like to get to, I think we could push this to 85, but I'm gonna leave it at 80 by the end of the year. And then those are some of those things that we're working on in the classroom for supports. Holiday celebrations happened. It was fabulous. We were in the gym, we were playing games, we were watching movies, we were eating snacks. Some pictures there for you.
Who won dodgeball?
We mix the kids up.
Oh, okay.
So it's not, we intermix grades so that it doesn't become.
The 6th grade beating on everybody.
Yeah. Well, we actually bumped the 6th grade. We bumped the 6 to go 6, 7, 8 this year. Well, this year and last year. So 6, 7, 8, we mix up and they play.
Well, different velocity level.
Yep.
Some of
Yep.
those ages.
But it does save the 3rd graders. So 3rd, 4th, and 5th played against each other, and then 6, 7, 8 this year played against. But it's fun. It's lots of fun. I think there was a hot minute where the teachers were thinking they were going to play the winning team, but I think they didn't.
Now, the teachers used to play in the dodgeball tournaments.
Yeah.
I'm playing in one.
Okay.
Yes.
My bracelets.
Yes.
They're the same way.
Probably a good idea. I love it, yes.
Yeah.
Then our training systems.
Deb Kale and staff that time. PTO had their holiday store. They staff it with parent volunteers, and then the kids get to purchase gifts for family members, and they wrap them. Here are our lovely December Eagles of the Month. Fabulous kiddos there doing those soaring behaviors. And I think that might be it. What I see it, but no, guess not. That's it. You guys have any questions? No. Okay. Woo.
Mr. Fingston.
All right. A couple simpler data points for us. Final exam exemption numbers. So I tried to capture fall since we started in the spring of 2023, but our fall numbers were 70.6% of our 9th through 12th grade were able to exempt finals because they met the expectations for attendance, tardies, discipline, grades, etc. So this was a big jump this semester. They're doing a great job. You can see it a little bit in the average daily attendance then. These are slightly different than what you see on the state report, and that's because of this guy pulling the wrong spot or something like that, but it's very close, and I pull it from the same spot in Power School. So you'll see middle school slightly has been each time-ish, except that first one, with a slightly higher attendance rate than high school, but holding steady. I looked at our overall chronic absenteeism report as well. We're right about 10%. That's students who are absent for 20 or more days, regardless of the reason why they're absent, just they're absent. So anyway, that's kind of been the same the last 3 years. It's been between 10.6 or 9.8 and 10.6%, somewhere around there. So,
And not to interrupt you, Mr. Fingston, just for context, because I know we get so focused on all the data we see in front of us in our school district. If you look at some chronic absentee at other schools, you will be shocked. And to Mr. Fingston's point, that is counting regardless of reason. And I think that would account for a lot here, because a lot of students do a lot of different things here. But if you compare this to other school districts that are even 30, 40 minutes away, it is, I've seen 50, 60%, even higher than that, just for context for people. So I would not be concerned with that number.
to come out of COVID, kind of right after that, we were at 15.4, I think, for chronic absenteeism. So that was kind of the kickoff to some of it. Right. So just fortunate to work with families who know that being here and kids that know that being here is important. So, we just started planning meetings for 2026-27 school year. Our goal is to have master schedule done by Cinco de Mayo. The kickoff of that process is these discussions. Are we gonna talk about adding any other classes? And it's a kickoff to the budgeting process too for us. So, parent teacher conferences, we will not meet before then. So Wednesday, February 11th and February 12th. Mrs. Coger, I believe, is in the crowd. So within the past month, we've had recognition for our economics education, 8th grade students who, I believe, first place won $30, and second place was, and second place was each. So thank you, Mrs. Coger. Thank you. And second place was $20 each. So we had good success there. Landon Shada is our Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership Representative. So congratulations to Landon. You represented us at the leadership conference. One of our professional development sessions this last time for our staff was talking about assessments in PE and the importance that we're placing on accuracy and validity of different things. So you'll see a couple different record setters. It's very meaningful to our kids. We've got quite a crew that comes in the morning and works on speed, agility, and power training in addition to what they're doing in the weight room, which has been a process. So anyway, a lot of that goes to say we had an all-class record setter for a sophomore, Lucas Price, set the squat record. So I asked him, well, what's your goal overall? And he said, somewhere around 700 pounds. So we'll see. I'm not putting it past the kid. He works hard. So as you see all the others. And then I think Peyton added to his record, added maybe a flying 10 that he got that you'll see if you look at the boards. We'll get those updated without red stickies, but wanted them to be recognized. And then because of the efforts of Cassie Rowland, we got to give credit where credit is due. Kind of initiated by our student teacher, Mrs. Baker, who has a brother who's overseas. Cassie then organized for us to send care packages over to the troops. So we got verification that they received them. The only one we had returned had hand sanitizer in it, which you guess can't send overseas in a care package.
Okay.
There was a note on it, it was rejected because of the hand sanitizer.
Do you know where they're currently deployed?
Yes, where did these go?
Somewhere in Afghanistan, somewhere in Syria.
And a couple of them, so we, in no way, shape, or form, are trying to exclude anybody, who's gone to Arlington, who's in the services, anything like that. We just knew this connection, so a couple of care packages we know went. We were able to get them to Arlington grads and families and different things that way. They were able to get them to them. So, but the main bulk of them went here. So.
I think it's a big deal, and I've said it before, but the general public sometimes forgets if we're not in a time of war or conflicts, there's still troops deployed all over the world right now, many different locations, some in war-torn locations, some in a lot of NATO countries, allies, things like that, but there's still troops all over the world, even though we are not in kind of combat, so that's a cool deal.
We are hopeful, hopefully it'll happen, but we believe we're getting 2 flags from them, 2 American flags that they're signing, or somehow, I don't know, somehow they're recognizing students for recognizing them in some way, shape, or form. So we'll figure out what that looks like, what we're getting, and then find a way to display that so our public knows what's going on and different things that way. So anyway, they want to send, I don't know if they're sending individual messages or cards or something like that back to students who wrote their messages type of thing too. So, yep.
Very good.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Shada.
Yes, actually, start from the second one, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, we talk a lot about our students being students first and athletes second. So the NSA has the NCPA Academic All-State Awards. So there's a criteria in front of there, which is a 3.7 and a 4.0. Unity, and asked to be a contributor on varsity level. So below you see, I want to recognize Ethan Hillenkamp and Henry Lancaster on the boys cross country team, Corinne May and Will Wahlberg, and football, Bradley Folder and Luke Ott were there, and girls golf, Aston Suits and Addison Thomas, softball, Emerson Tim and Lydia Shopfield, volleyball, Corinne Crosland, and Hillenkamp, and then play productions from Nora Andreessen and Kate Douglas. So congratulations to those folks. They're very busy and keeping a very high GPA. This week, we might hit 1,000 people through the front doors, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday wrestling events that we host. And so hopefully you can make it out and watch those boys and girls wrestle all the way down from seniors to kindergartners on Sunday. If you're really brave enough to show up Sunday morning, that's nuts. But that's kind of sarcasm.
They're everywhere.
The Friday and Saturday should be fun. We're thankful for those two big events, and excited to have that. So take an opportunity to see them. So we appreciate our staff, and there's quite a few folks that are willing to work those days. So thanks for that. Then you see the video board update there. Had a lot of good conversations. Actually, I think one of them was only the 23rd of December. So we're all the way coming back after the holidays. Some of them are going to get back to us there. At the bottom there, they're working with their folks too. I don't know if I noted this last time, Holstone Farms is interested, but their springtime is a better time for their company, and so we'll revisit them. We have another on the calendar to call those folks back too. So appreciate your help there, and if you have other connections you want to throw my way, we'd love to have those too. So last but not least, last month, you guys asked about the older Hall of Fame boards. We have located them. We have to get those cleaned up. They were in the back collecting sawdust in the very, very back. And so I think we maybe found a good location. We don't have a ton of wall space, guys. And so probably the dilemma that we're working through is making sure we have a good spot for them. And as we fill more by the main gym, we don't want to be hodgepodge down here. So kind of just what's sustainable for several years too. So we'll work on getting those up here in the next couple of weeks. And as long as we get that, maybe all of us down on the same agree where we put it. So sound fair? So,
Jason's very vain, so that'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can
I
buff
got a phone
those
call about it
things.
today. I was like, found your stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's great.
Probably the last thing to tell you, we have fun tomorrow night is unified basketball. I don't know if you realize at halftime, both halftimes. And then the last Wednesday month is up the 27th, I believe. We host during the day the Unified Washington County. So it's ball games that day. And so that starts at 9 o'clock. Come on up, that should be great. We'll host. Then we'll play a game on the Fort Calhoun game in between boys and girls varsity games. So a lot of fun things there. So if tomorrow looks like a NASCAR event where we throw little hoops on the big hoops and we run little guys out there and they do an awesome job. So it should be fun to see them. So credit the Unified team. Honestly, K-12. So we have some district meetings that's, once a month probably that we work on those things. And so it's a fun opportunity for us.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you, admin team. We will go to agenda item 7, superintendent's report. Dr. Lewis.
Yes, I'm gonna pass around a couple things as we're going through those, take one copy of each one of those. First I have attached here is our enrollment report, so, wrapping up December, with 717 students K through 12, that's up 3 from October.
Well, on the little side, we're just continuing to fill your side. over
Yep.
there.
Lots of movement, yes. Your NASB and your NERCSA reports are attached. You can go ahead and read those. One thing that's a little different in NERCSA report this time is that our executive director of our Rural Community School Association is retiring. She was retired superintendent many years ago, probably, oh goodness. He's probably been in this position for 10 or 11 years, so he's retiring, so that organization is on the search for a new executive director. I did, one of the attachments you're receiving you don't have to tear them in half. I mean, you can if you want to. I did not realize that there were tax statement
That's what we
forms
passing on.
in the printer, and I started printing, and Jen's like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I have tax forms in there." I'm so sorry. So anyway,
you wasted those.
this is the like the one piece of what NASB does that we haven't utilized yet, and we haven't since I've been here undergone a board self-evaluation process. So I just gave you this information, so you could look at that. They didn't have much more available than that. If you're interested, we can kind of dive a little bit deeper into that in our board retreat. If it's something that you want to explore using a little bit more, you can get some more information from NASB on that. And we can talk about it at the retreat if it's something that you want to do. It would be like a survey process similar to my evaluation, and then there's strategic planning, where kind of those surveys built into it. So anyway,
Does
something to
Marcia
think
do
about.
that, Dr. Lewis, or who does that?
Probably Stacy Higgins. I don't
Okay.
know who does that.
I don't suppose, well, I know it's hard to ask in the evening. Maybe we can Zoom her into our.
I can find out. So actually, Stacy and Ben will be doing our community engagement. Ask her
Okay,
maybe that evening to bring a little bit more.
okay, that might be good
Something like that.
for us to talk about.
Okay. Yep. Then you also are receiving here a paper copy of our annual report. It's attached there. It's a digital file too, but this is just the rundown. Again, we can never get this done until the state gives us all of our data, because that goes on there. So that's audit data, which they collect, around that November 5th timeframe, and then when they release our student data and things like that too. So you can see there kind of where a lot of our financials fell, there's a lot of different things that's really kind of in there. Even our certificated data compared to the state, we're talking about average years of experience, average salaries, the percentage that have advanced degrees. Love the highlights section that's in there, the different things that we do in the high school, the elementary, and then in our activities. Just lots of great information. And then on the back page, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, this is a lot of good information.
Yeah.
For people to see, just across the board.
Mhm.
Is this something that goes out to our parents?
It's available on our website.
But we don't, like, really push it out there?
Paper copies available.
Can we email the parents?
Yeah, I can email it as an attachment.
And maybe on the elementary side, because I know you guys use different systems.
We could, yeah. So it could go, yeah, I
'Cause
can do, but if I just do one group email, I mean, it wouldn't have to go in a smaller newsletter.
This is, I think,
could
for a
just send
parent
it with our,
that gets inundated with stuff,
Yeah.
this kind of focuses it down.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's context to everything, but I think it gives them a good overview for a parent, yeah.
yeah, and most of it is pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes the charts on the back feel a little tricky to read. The important thing there is all the amount of money of scholarships that our kids are receiving. That's self-explanatory there. $3.7 million that they received last year, and then the bar graphs there with our student performance data too. It's just all good information.
I think this is the kind of stuff we should definitely kind of push out to families.
Yep.
It's available, but that doesn't mean that people know that it's available. And especially with having kind of a more difficult time of communication in our county with newspapers and different things like that.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of a
using our-
space
that-
where we can,
Yeah, that Blackboard
push it.
stamped a little bit more frequently
yeah.
and pushing it out as an
Right.
email, so.
Cool.
Great. And then just a reminder, you probably received in your email from NASB, the legislative issues conference coming up the end of January there. So Chase and I talked about that, and he's planning on attending. I will on that Monday too. So if anybody else would like to go, let me know and I can get you registered.
Get your popcorn, everybody. It is gonna be a fun legislative year,
That's what I heard.
so it's already kicking off, so.
We've introduced a couple of interesting things already, so.
Yeah. Agenda item 8, committee and representative reports, 8.1, facilities workshop, which is what we just.
Yeah, we had that at 6 o'clock today,
So, kind of like I said, not to take over a buildings and grounds report here, but since the whole board was on this, I think it's just for us to narrow down here a focus, because obviously what they provided was, I would say, way more broad.
Well, like he said, it's a 25 plus year plan.
Yes.
That's what we kind of worked on. Now, where's our focus going?
Yep.
So I think that's a really big thing that we need to tell people is this is what we did and this is why. But it's so that we have a plan, not just for tomorrow, it's for years and years down the road. What is the goal?
And I would, to that point too, even though it's a 25-year plan, there are some things in that will never occur that may never occur in 25 years as well. Because one, it doesn't make sense, maybe financially, maybe structurally, maybe in our school district, it doesn't make sense. But, and maybe it doesn't make sense now, or maybe it makes sense now, but in 5 to 10 years, it may not, or vice versa. So I think there's a lot of conversation there, and I think drilling down on that to get a better idea of any costs or anything associated will be kind of the next topic for we can kind of kick off during community engagement meeting. So.
Perfect.
Agenda item 8.2, negotiations committee. We will have a short report out. It'll be the last action item there. So I'll wait till we're there for a more specific report on that. Agenda item 9, new business, and 9.1, discussion of the community engagement meeting. Topic for discussion, DLR presentation. So as we discussed, NASB will kind of be coordinating our community engagement meeting. They wanted us to select 3 main questions out of the question bank they provided. Now, just because those are the questions that they provided does not mean that we can't tailor a specific question or alter the questions they have. I do think, based upon what we have going on right now, a question around facilities or needs and maybe narrowing down that should be incorporated into a question somehow. So just keep that in mind when kind of going through these questions. So I'm gonna let the board here kind of look at these 20 questions and see if they want to just kind of review them quick and see if there's a couple that they really want to identify. And Shannon, hopefully you're able to see that as well.
I think 11 is pretty close to what you're looking for, wasn't it?
I was feeling like 11 and 17 could both be areas of like that would tailor more to DLR.
And I think combining those two,
Yeah.
to both of your points, will help us narrow down that focus that we just talked about. So I almost think combining the question, identify 2 or 3 major priorities over the next 5 years as they relate to improving and expanding learning facilities and grounds, something like that.
Yeah.
You said it was 11 and 17, correct?
Yeah, I think, and I just kind of did off the cusp, Dr. Lewis, I said, to identify 2 to 3 major priorities over the next 5 years that focus on improving, expanding learning facilities and grounds.
Do you want to give them choices?
I think we.
They want us to narrow these down
Yeah.
to 3.
No, I mean, do we want to, instead of leaving it an open-ended question?
I don't think so. I think because before it was much more broad when DLR did it. I think now we're telling them, hey, you have to tell us 2 to 3. When we saw the chart before, when it was 8 or 9. So I think I'm hesitant to identify certain areas, Steve, only because then the board's kind of dictating to
kind of leading them down one path.
Do we give them those same 8 topics though?
My wasn't choices and everything, but we have a choice window. We've kind of narrowed when you see what we've been offering, even in any of the 3 phases. You could get them to rank those 3 phases more by kind of offering them a hodgepodge of those choices inside. And then you could always have an other, or add your own. I'm just wondering if we want to try and focus our 3 phase by seeing what's important to them, if we list everything that's in those in separate line items.
I think that might be good for, depending on how Caden and DLR do it, before we would discuss at tables. I know And I think,
Yeah, it depends on how they wanna.
I think
work
how the
together
structure is,
to-
but to your point, I think, if we can say, hey, if they do wanna do tables, and we say, hey, identify 2 to 3 based upon this bank, if you will, I think that would be a good route to go.
Well, I agree, we don't wanna necessarily steer them, but if we don't give them some guide rails, we're just gonna get splattered all over the place.
Yep, I don't do,
Yeah.
yep, that's a good point.
So I think with a combination of 11, 17, we could probably turn that into one.
Yep.
Um,
Shannon, do you like that idea?
Yeah, I'm good with it. I'm just putting in the chat, I really like number 4. I think we should start with it. It sets a good tone, talking about points of pride going forward.
Yep. Yeah, I know, I think you're dead on, because I think a lot of times, we're human, we focus on what's wrong, what's not going well, what we can try to fix, instead of talking about our strengths, so I definitely agree with that.
That's good, but do we have the questions we asked the last two? Cause I have the feeling we asked that same question, at least at one of them.
We have asked it, I can't remember what year we asked it though, Steve.
Okay.
And I do think things are cyclical, a lot of ways, some things will stay the same, but,
Well, I'm just waiting
Yeah.
for the type of person that shows up to every one of these to say, you asked that same thing to me when I was here last year.
yeah.
And then you say, well, do you have anything positive to say yet?
NAS is really good at keeping track of what we've already asked them, and so.
That's what I say.
They do like that.
We try.
And I think that's kind of 2 questions. I think a question, not specifically, because we talked about kind of a needs incorporation, we've talked about positives. I don't want to, hey, name all the negatives. I think we need to, hey, what are some things, new ideas? That's why I kind of like 19 a little bit, because I think it covers the gamut. But that was just off the cusp I was looking at.
I'm gonna like to know 20 as well.
Yeah.
I remember I marked them in my office and then I didn't turn my sheet in here.
I had way more than 3, so.
They're only
Well,
gonna ask 3.
I know.
You got one
But
more.
there's because I feel like 4 and 5 kind of go together as well, of saying like, what are your points of pride?
Yeah.
And what does that look like to you? Like, how do you value, like, how do you, like, they're gonna tell us how they measure success because they're telling us what they find pride in. I feel like, a little bit.
Yeah.
So some of these do kind of go together.
I like 9 because then you're asking for a real world. What do you actually need to survive in the world? Are we teaching our students that?
Yeah.
I feel like we have asked that in the
I
past.
think we have
Similar to
asked.
number 20.
Yeah.
We have asked.
I feel like we have asked that in the past, and there are a lot of times that more that they don't know, the community doesn't know what their kids know. And like some kids don't know that we have a class and we offer a class where you can take real world math because their kid doesn't like math, they don't want to take it.
Yeah.
Or they don't know that our kids can take a class where you learn about personal finance, but you have to choose to take that. They don't think that it's even offered. So in some cases, people come in saying, well, kids should know how to buy a checkbook and do all these things. Yeah, we think so too, and that is a class that we offer, but does your kid take it? So I think sometimes they don't know because they don't know what's offered at school.
That's
Learn how to balance a checkbook in 8th grade, I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, but those are the things that sometimes when we ask them those questions of what do you think that they should know,
There's so.
they don't even know. You know, they don't know that that's even those things are options that we give students. It's whether they take them or not.
More question, let's not use them.
Devil's advocate here.
So right now, we kind of have a number 4 to lead off, and a combination of 11 and 17. And then to close things out,
Yeah, that's interesting.
What about 14, 15? Like a combo of those. So how can we strengthen strengthen the district with partnerships with families, business organizations? So again, getting the community together, because that's what we're trying to do with this meeting is get the community involved. So how would they like us to do that more?
I think that's a good point, combining 14 and 15. And I think it's something we've struggled with in today's world of, we've talked about communication and newspaper, we've tried a lot of different things.
Mhm.
And I think it's always important that we stay connected to those in the community, so I like that idea of combining 14 and 15.
Could you add the last part of 16 to that? I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Like, they always have great ideas, but are you willing as a said business owner to
Yeah.
help tie to having kids come
Yeah.
on a Friday
How can you
afternoon?
help?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think those are all, we
Yeah.
work really hard
so.
getting those opportunities.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, ChatGPT can really do a
I
number
will say
with those 3
21
questions right
For
there.
sure.
I'll figure that out.
So
Okay.
then when we think about organizing these, so I think like Shannon said, starting out with number 4 first, so establishing that we want this to be a positive conversation. And then maybe going into the combination of 11, 17, because we're talking about what we're doing, what we wanna do. And then tying it with, finishing with that 14, 15, 16 of, okay, now we know what we kind of wanna do, what our ideas are, then how do we follow through with communication?
Yeah.
And how are you going to help in this step instead of just complaining or whatever it might be?
Yeah, and Ben and Stacy will have that all
Okay.
to you, and then they take all of that data that we collect
Yep.
for this meeting and they spit us a report
Okay,
after
yeah.
that is done too, so I'm sure they would have a way to put all of
Okay.
those together to get the most out of it.
And now talking to this Dr. List to Steve's point earlier, I think with DLR being there, when we go to that question of combination 11, 17, I think maybe DLR having those,
The prioritizing.
the 8 or 9,
Yeah.
and I don't want them to put the chart up there of
It's
how
too
those
much.
are ranked. I think just having
Yeah.
the title like CTE building up there or up there, and DLR can then, hey, we did these listening sessions, here are the 8 or 9 topics we talked about, but we really want to zero in on that. So that's why we're asking you to identify 2 to 3 of those major priorities. That will kind of involve in DLR with the presentation. I
Okay.
think.
Yes, I will schedule a Zoom with Darren. I will get the questions all worked out, send those to Ben and Stacy, and then I will talk with Darren about how it'll work too.
How do we push this meeting again? How do we
It'll
do
go
it?
to social media, they'll get a blast at home, so everybody will hear about it a couple of times through our platform.
Are we mentioning the fact that we're gonna be discussing, I don't know what we're saying, expansion, renovation?
DLR, whatever, facility.
Because as soon as you
things.
mention that buildings and facilities, expansion, whatever, any sort of construction, that will ping people.
Yeah.
Because immediately they.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for
Big fund or
a while
something,
on
right?
a facilities assessment, but to your point, there's gonna be people that come into conversations at a certain time.
Yeah.
So I think we will preface the conversation so that people understand, hey, we started a strategic planning session with NASB a long time ago to look at the next 5 years of strategic planning for the school district. Within that and several community engagement meetings, it was brought to the board's attention of different facility needs and things like that. We then hired DLR to do a facilities assessment on what the next 25 years may look like. This in no way is anything we could go through this facility assessment and not do anything. We are not telling people in any way, hey, this is gonna lead to a bond issue. We just are assessing our facilities and preparing for the future, because we know if we don't have these conversations, we've seen districts very close to us have issues that they are dealing with because they haven't addressed it.
But I think we can use it, I think it's important to have something in there, because
I will
we will
probably include
raise our
topics.
engagement.
Yeah, I will,
More people are gonna come engaged. Now, we don't
Yeah.
want them to think that they're gonna come and see plans,
Yeah.
because that would be, well, I thought they were gonna say.
Some type of language about
But
a facilities assessment
Yeah.
that we've been conducting.
yeah, I will say, I'll craft it and I'll send it out so you'll know what it is.
that could maybe help drive numbers, is what the only thing is.
Shannon, did you have anything else on that? Are you good with all that?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Agenda item 9.2, review and discuss policies, 6,000 to 6,200 series.
Yeah,
go ahead.
nothing changed in any of those. Sorry, gotta get back to the right screen on my own page, so. Yeah, so these are just revisions. I believe the newest one that would have recently changed was electronic. So that was one that we took care of last summer. Otherwise, they're just, most of them again are legislated. School day for staff is pretty specific. Emergencies, fire drills, plans, those are all mandated, what we need to do. Our curriculum review cycle, we modified that just probably a couple of years ago. Maybe it's been longer than that. Everything feels like a couple of years ago, and I'll go back and look, and it's been 4 or 5. But when we realized that our science adoption was misaligned with when the state was releasing standards, we modified that a couple of years back.
Agenda item 9.3, discuss and consider updated policies on second reading. So this is the second time you've seen these. 3131 is regarding procurement, and 3132 is regarding internal controls. This was due to some legislative changes and some things happening at different levels of government. So this just makes those policies.
And it changed some of the purchase points where you have to get permission. It used to be like if you were making a major purchase for the kitchen or something for hot lunch or something that was federally funded like that, you had to get permission to purchase anything over $10,000 and justify it. That changed to 15, that type of thing. So those are the things that in those policies. Micro purchases, macro purchases, those types of things.
And Dr. Lewis,
We do need a motion on the
that's what was confusing me. I didn't think we did.
We do when it's a brand new policy and it's.
Got it, thank you.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
The other ones are just reviewing.
That's right.
I make a motion, we adopt policies 3131, 3132 as revised.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you, Steve Cass. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Brian Locker,
Yes.
Steve Slygeis,
Yes.
Jason Arp,
Yes.
Cassie Plessner,
Yes.
Chase Crowder.
Yes. Motion carries. All right. Going back to my previous point, negotiations committee agenda item 9.4 is discuss, consider, and take necessary action to approve 2026-2027 master agreement with certificated teaching staff. So obviously this is something we do every year. We meet with the AEA and go over changes to their contract. Every year is a little different. Some years we focus on healthcare, cost benefits, some years it's dollars and cents, some years it's language changes. This year, this was the quickest because it only took 2 meetings since I've been on the board to get to a approved package on both sides. I think that's a testament to the board and also the AEA. We both have the same goal here. We just have different constraints on each people's end in getting to that end goal. So here attached, you'll see negotiation summary of the contract. That outlines basically all the different changes there. So I'll just kind of run briefly down here and for everybody's reference, just as an overview. When we do this, we look at an array of different schools, and that array is in proximity to us, usually within an hour, and then also in relation to school size as well. Look at a multitude of things at that array of the number of contract days, what teachers' base salaries are, how many different steps they have, what we're paying for activities that they participate in internally. We don't compare that necessarily, but we have looked at that to other districts, just a multitude of different things to get an idea of where our district stands as compared to other school districts. It was, now that we have addressed kind of the health insurance things and got that up to 100%, that has allowed us to maybe focus on some other things for the district. So here you will see we came to an agreement on base increase of $400. That would be to make the new base $42,150. On contract days, we are are actually, we usually we're at 186 contract days. We're going down in contract days by one, and we're working through the details of that a little bit. And you'll kind of see that outlined in that. Also some changes for sick leave buyback, buyback rate. We also activity in a couple different areas. Those 3 areas were identified in there as well. We made some language changes on short-term disability, added the early retirement incentive plan as an addendum to the master agreement, and then we cleaned up some obsolete language on sick leave and cash in lieu. So that is the package that the negotiation team came to agreement with the AEA and their members on. Kind of a lot of data there, but I'll turn it over to Brian first and then Shannon if they wanted to add any comments as part of the committee.
No, you got everything I needed to.
Shannon, would you like to add anything to that?
Nothing from me.
And then you'll see also as an attachment that identifies the increase and the cost in there as well, after accounting for a lot of different things. Keep in mind there's movement from certificated staff members. Just in general, there's movement without doing anything from year to year. There's also been changes to teachers' retirement pay and things that helped us out a little bit from a dollar standpoint, and also helped certificated staff members out on contribution things, and a little bit always helps. So you'll see that overall package, including those things, is pretty much right at 4%. So I'll open it up to any board members because this is obviously a very important part of what we do here. If they have any specific questions on any of those provisions or just the negotiations in general, if anybody has anything.
Well, I'd say I appreciate both sides working as fast as you guys did.
You said 2 meetings
Yeah, we had 2 in-person meetings.
2 in-person meetings.
and our side agrees and their side agrees?
You got it.
2 meetings?
Yep.
Well, I
And-
say everybody's.
There were a few emails too.
Well, yes,
Emails.
in negotiation, that would seem like a fairly successful one.
And I would argue it was just based upon the timing of things. We probably could have done it in one meeting, depending on when the timing was. We just didn't have some data we were waiting for at the time we had one of the meetings. So
That's fantastic.
with that, I'll make a motion to approve the 2026-2027 master as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, it's moved and seconded. Thank you, Brian. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Steve Slighthouse,
Yes.
Jason R,
Yes.
Cassie Plesner,
I abstain with conflict,
Chase Craddock.
I don't think you really need to on this one, actually.
but it affects my spouse.
It's a package for the entire teaching staff.
That's what I don't, yeah,
That's
that's what
what
I'm not
makes it
sure on.
tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes it tricky in this situation. You're not voting specifically for, you're not voting specifically for one person's salary.
Yeah.
You're voting for changes to the master agreement, and that's okay.
I don't think.
That's not.
But I can't be on negotiations for that reason though, so I don't
But they did tell him that.
know if that would be, right?
That's what they're
I-
telling Cassie.
I
She's not.
believe Dr. Lewis is correct here, and I believe NASB would say the same thing since it is the entire master agreement and not a specific individual. I understand where Cassie's coming from now. So like I said, I believe Dr. Lewis is
Yeah,
correct, but
okay.
because
I think you could
it's an entire
probably go
master
either
agreement.
way, I don't think it's going to.
Okay.
But if you have consternation about it, I don't.
Yeah, I don't wanna vote on it and then end up in the wrong. I would rather abstain with conflict and then find out more for sure
Okay.
later.
I'm
Is that-
pretty certain that you would be fine voting
Okay.
for it, but, I mean, like, voting,
Yeah,
but if you're not comfortable with it.
yeah, I think just because of I'm gonna abstain with conflict and then check on that and then
Yep.
make sure. I don't wanna do it and not be sure.
Chase Crandall.
Yes.
Brian Locker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. And I will follow up with, Dr. Lewis and I will follow up with NASB to clarify
Okay,
going
yeah.
forward.
I think, I mean, it makes sense what you're saying, but I wanna be sure.
Yep, I understand.
Yeah.
With that, we will adjourn at 9:28 p.m.
Then you can find out next tomorrow what I have to vote.
That's why I think you gotta get YouTube team, I'm gonna go home and watch it. I don't know anything.
Oh, I've been, I checked.
Good, good, good.